Hey lovies, welcome to my channel, Craft Away with May. I'm May. Welcome to my old and new studies. I'm so glad to have you all here with me, and I am sharing with you guys that I did celebrate my birthday on yesterday by the time you guys see this video, and I'm just glad you guys stopped by to hang out with me today. So we're going to jump into our first project using this beaded bunny frame that I had here. I got this from Michael's quite a few years ago, and I had it in my stash not knowing really what I wanted to do with it. But when I got it, of course it was on sale, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something with it. And I was inspired by this picture that I'm gonna show you guys in our last project, and it kind of set the tone for each project today. And as you can see here, I skipped every other bead, or just with every other bead doing black and white, alternating between the two colors. Now the paint job on this was not perfect. The paint brushes kept touching each color, trying to get up in the little crevices and all that stuff, and eventually I got a little annoyed, and I was like, okay, it is what it is. The people are gonna get what they're gonna get. And so I tried to touch it up as best I could. Now again, it was not perfect, but it's okay. So right here, I'm taking this piece of a crafter stick, and I'm just going to attach that to the back of the bunny at the neckline. As you can see, I'm doing right there. Now, I am going in with a little bit of my Aliens Tacky Glue and Hot Glue. You guys know the drill. It's for the long-term, short-term hole. And we're going to get that in place, and that's going to play a really important part for this bunny. Like I said, I had it for a while. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and I was going in a Mackenzie Childs direction. Now, for you guys who've been with me, for any time you guys know, I've shared with you, I just recently was introduced to Mackenzie Childs about 2 or 3 years ago from my good friend over at K with At Home with K. She does a phenomenal job. And in my guest room, I am going towards the black and white decor in there. So I wanted to do something for spring in there, and like I said, I was inspired by this picture, and it just set the tone for this whole video. Now I'm going in with this floral pick here because I like the Mackenzie Childs when they incorporate the little color, pops of color to the black and white. And I just was like, okay, how can we make this work? And this is how I thought to do this. Now I'm going in right now with one of my Kathy Jo bows, and I'm just going to cut down the tails here, and we're going to incorporate that into this project. And mentioning Kathy Jo right now, guys, I want to ask you guys that you all keep her lifted up in prayer. She just recently lost her father, and as we know, the grieving process is hard, and it's, we know it happens, but it's uncomfortable for us. It's heartbreaking. So keep her lifted up in prayer along with her family. Stop by her channel, show her some love, let her go through this process, give her a little bit of grace, okay? But definitely stop by, show her some love, support her channel in any way that you can, all right? But most of all, keep her lifted up in prayer. So what you see I'm doing right here, lovies, is I'm taking that bowl and I'm just going to put it off to the side. Now, I was afraid that it was going to be maybe a little bit too big, but you guys know me, right? I love, big bows. I love all that. So it was not too big for me. So right here, I felt like the pink and the purple or lavender florals still needed a little pop of color, a little something extra. So I'm just adding in more parts from that pick into that little section there. I'm going to add a little piece to the bow, and as simple as this is, I was like, this really came together very nicely. It's super cute in my opinion. It's very simple, but yet I get the Mackenzie Child vibes coming from it. You guys can let me know. I don't know if you guys are into Mackenzie Childs. If not, look it up. I do love their stuff. I think it's just very cute and elegant. I'm very surprised I'd never seen it before. Maybe I had seen it and not realized what it was, but I just love it. So anyway, here I'm going in, and I'm taking some of this. This is like the ribbon that you put on gifts and stuff, and with Mackenzie Childs, it has the gold tones or parts to it when they do like the quarterly check. I think that's what it's called. And I wanted to incorporate some gold here since my paint job sucked, okay? So I was like, we need to remedy this as best we can. And that's how I chose to do it, by adding in this gold trim. And it actually works out because I was going to go in with some gold rub and buff, but I was like, I'm just going to end up having to, touch that up. And so when I looked over, saw this sitting off to the side, I was like, thank you, crafting gods. That will work here. And look at it. I like it. I mean, I don't know if anybody else will. I like this. This came out really cute. I don't know. I just was going with the flow at this point. I was like, let's see what happens. Let's see how this works. And plus, with it being coily already, it was easy to wrap around between those things. So it was a win-win in my opinion. Now, I did remove the jute hanger because after I put everything together, I just felt like that stuck out like a sore thumb. It just really didn't go well with the project. So I decided to take some more of that little curly ribbon and add that to the back as the hanger. And it is actually very strong, and it's hanging up. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. It's hanging up right now, and I'm not too worried about it because once I'm adding hot glue to it to put it in place, because again, it's super coily and it just kept rolling up on me. So I was like, let me put a little bit of hot glue down, and then I'm just going to go in my stapler, and we're just going to put that in place. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this piece, and we're going to jump into project number 2 right now. For those joining me for the first time, I love to show all my projects at the end of the video because I like you to see everything together in its full glory. So stick around for that. And, yeah, stick around for that. I couldn't remember what I was going to say next. So right here, I am going in with one of these 12-inch wooden mason jars. Had this in my stash as well. I got these off of Amazon years ago, and they come in a pack of like, I can't remember if it was 12 or 15 I got in a pack for like $8, something like that. I don't know what they are today, but they were very inexpensive. And so as you can see, I'm going in with more black and white. Again, that's the tone. That's the color tone throughout the video. Black and white. All right, with a little touch of gold. With the exception of this project, I did not actually put gold in this project. But afterwards, I thought I should have, but it was already done and I had moved on, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it as is. So anyway, once I get this painted in the black and white, I wanted to create a bottom for this, like to make it kind of look like the jar had a bottom to it. And so I outlined it with a pencil, and now I'm just going to fill that in with some black paint. Now, when I did this, after I finished, I was like, okay, I don't like this, but I did not want to go back and paint it in white again because then it was going to start making it too thick. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to roll with it, and we're going to just, make it work. All right. So then right here, I'm going to cover the entire surface with some of my matte Mod Podge. Okay. And that's because we're going to go in with this super cute black and white rub-on transfer. When I saw this, I was like, this is so stinking cute with the little bunny and the whole rolling cart of Easter eggs. I was like, this is so adorable. I have to do something with this. So how you use a rub-on transfer, if you've never used one, you just cut the piece out, you apply it to the surface, and you rub, and then you just pull away that carrier sheet to reveal the picture. And here I'm just doing a little varnishing with this. I've seen other crafters do this. Normally I just wipe my hand over and it works pretty well, but I've seen them do it. I was like, let me try it. So I did it, and I can't really tell the difference, but hey, it worked. Okay, that's all I care about at the end of the day, is that it worked. So then right here, I decided to go in with some little squiggly line and dots to kind of outline this, and this wasn't giving the vibe that I wanted. And so I think with me adding in that bottom part there, start throwing off the whole project. But I was like, no, we're going to fix this. So again, once I did all this, I didn't want to add more paint to it to cover it up, because again, it was going to start making it look thick, and I didn't want that. So here I'm like, let's just keep going, Mary, to see what we come up with. Here I'm just drawing out some little lines, kind of make them look like little bushes, and it's gonna work. It's gonna all come together. At least in my opinion, I think I was able to save it, and I really like the way it came out in the end. Okay, so right here I'm going in, and now I'm going to add some white line stitching to that bottom. And why I did that, I don't know, but I did it. I don't know. It was just looking so I don't want to say harsh. It wasn't looking harsh. It was just so bold. And I wanted to keep it soft because it was Easter. And so I was like, okay, you're adding the wrong things to this. So I was like, let me see what I can do here. So I'm like, let's just go in with another bow. And I really like this polka dot. I love polka dots too. And so I was like, okay, this will soften it up a little bit, right? At least that was my thought process. So once I get it all nice and stretched out, I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut the tails down on this one. And I needed these tails to be kind of short here because I didn't want them to overtake the picture. I wanted that picture to be it. I wanted that to be the focal point because I thought it was so darling. And so after I fuss around with this for like 50 hours and get it situated, I'm just going to go ahead and tack it down with just a little bit of hot glue right there, just like that. That's what we're going to do. And so once I do that, I'm still looking at it like it's still not softening this up for me. It's not softening it up. So while I was thinking about that, I'm going to take this little laser cutout that I had in my stash. Where I got it from, I don't know, but it says Happy Easter on it. I want to say it came in a little tray that I got from Hobby Lobby. I feel like that's where I got it from, but I wouldn't bet my last dollar on that. So, save your coins. Don't bet your dollar on that because I can't remember. So once I get that painted in white, I'm going to just put that right in that little bottom part right there. And I'm like, okay, I see it coming together, but it still doesn't have that softness I was looking for, okay? So I'm like, but it's cute. It's still cute. I think it's coming together cute. So then right here, I decided to take this ribbon. And it has the little, like, ruffly edges to it, I guess you can say. And I was like, okay, let's cut those down. Let's remove the little ruffles from it. And we're going to take those ruffles and add them as an outline to the mason jar. And I like that. It gave me the softness that I was looking for. I almost wished that I had did this in like the ruffle part in like a yellow or pink. But I couldn't find my pink. I feel like I have this ribbon in pink, but I don't know where it was. So white it was. And I think it worked. I do. I mean, some may not agree with me, but I think it gave it the softness I was looking for. I could even did it in black ribbon, actually. It might have worked out too, but I think this gave it the softness I was looking for. And literally all I do is cut that down, and I just go around the entire part of the mason jar for the most part. And that's going to be pretty much it once I get it tacked down. And all I did here, as you can see, just to put it in place, is I'm just using hot glue because it being fabric and all, it doesn't require much more than that in my opinion. I don't think so, but I get it trimmed down, and I should have just ran a whole piece of the ribbon all the way around, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I didn't want to waste the ribbon, if that makes sense. So once I do that, then I'm going to take some, I'm going to look at it. Oh, I'm still trimming. Okay, no, here it is. Here it is. Okay, we're back in business. All right, here we go. I'm going to take some of these acrylic little flowers. They're little different colored daisies. Now, I do know I got these from Hobby Lobby for sure. Okay, a couple years ago. And they bring them out every spring, at least for the last couple of years. And I usually get them when they're like 40% off. And this is where I'm going to add in that little pop of color. And this is where I should have went with like gold little accents instead of the pink. But I was so focused on softening this up. And as I mentioned earlier, I like with the whole Mackenzie Childs, even though this one's not really considered like a Mackenzie Childs dupe or version or anything, they usually add the gold tones in. But I was so focused on trying to soften this up for Easter, I just went in with those pink colors. And that's it for this one, and we're gonna jump into our final project. This is the inspiration of it all. I saw this online. It was $149, and I was like, okay, that's a lot of money for an egg, a peekaboo egg. We're gonna make our own peekaboo egg, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it as a terracotta teacup. Okay, if you are joining me for the first time on this channel, we have been doing a series where we take a terracotta pot, add a handle to it with a theme, and we turn it into a terracotta teacup. We are on number 77. We are on the road to 100. I say it all the time, I can't believe it, but we are at number 77. So right here, I'm going to take this egg. Now, I got this from the 99-cent store before they went out of business, before I left California. And I'm just going to cover this in some white paint. Now, this is not going to be an exact match or dupe to that. Again, that was just an inspiration piece. And this is what I had in my stash that would, came close enough for me to redo this. Now, again, I'm not an expert when it comes to Mackenzie Childs, okay, y'all? So I was like, how can I do this? So I started drawing the lines, and as y'all can see, those lines started going left, right, west, east, north, south, all of that. But it did come together, okay, because I was eyeballing it. Y'all know I don't ever do the right thing. Now, I should have taped it off and did it, but I was afraid the paint was going to come off. It was a whole thing, okay? So I just rolled with it, and I was like, please let this work. Please let this work. Please let this work. And it worked, y'all. I have to say, it did come together. So I'm just filling it in with my paint pen here, and you can totally paint this. If you don't have a paint pen, you can totally do that. Or you can use a Sharpie. A Sharpie will work here too. So I was like, okay, it's working. Okay, May, you did something. You did a little bit of something here. Okay. So once I got my check going, I was like, okay, now we're going to go in with the gold rubbing bar. And I just went in and I just outlined each of the squares. And it wasn't perfect. Again, I wasn't trying to be perfect. I knew I was going to have some mistakes because I'm not the greatest painter in the world. And to me, Mackenzie Childs looks more handcrafted than something like they just had like a professional paint job done to it. It looks more handcrafted. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing here, is just outlining each of the squares, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, it wasn't even. It wasn't perfect, guys. But I gotta say, it did come out kind of cute. I kind of like it. I do. I really do. I was pretty impressed with it. Whenever I do anything with Mackenzie Childs, I am impressed because it's just, it's not something I've always practiced to do, and I like that. And, I think this was pretty cool. And the fact that we turned it into a terracotta teacup, I thought was super cool on top of all of that. And I'm sorry I left so much of this in here, but I guess I really want you guys to see it kind of come together. And I think it's pretty cool. If I remember, I'll pop a picture of it up in here again so you guys can see. Hopefully I'll remember. So once I outline each of the squares, there you have it. I really like it, and I really like the texture of it, the way it looks. I'm like, that looks pretty cool. I really like the texture of that. So then next, I'm going to go in with this pool noodle. As you can see right here, I'm cutting it in half. We're going to lay that down in there. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of hot glue to that handle there. What I use for the handle is I take macrame rings, I cut them in half. And I was just adding in some of that Aleene's tacky glue while I'm working with everything else to let it start getting tacky. So when I go to add the handle on, it'll stay on there. Okay. And so then I'm just adding some of that tacky glue and hot glue to the base of our pot or our teacup. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some more of the florals I used in our first project, I'm going to add them here. All right, so I have forgot to glue my my pool noodle down, so I'm just going to glue that in, or put that in with some hot glue. Now you can also add some tacky glue here if you choose to recreate this. Now Dollar Tree does carry some eggs similar to this. I want to say theirs are actually a little bit larger, but if you chose to recreate this, you could probably find them there. If not, I think at Hobby Lobby they have them too, several in a pack. So you can find these literally anywhere, probably even at Dollar General. So I'm just going to start arranging these. No rhyme, no reason. Just again, because it's supposed to be a peekaboo egg and it had the florals and the little bunny in there and all that. So I'm just arranging, arranging this until I can get however many florals up in there. I was just shoving them up in there to cover up that pool noodle, because I didn't want any of it peeking through, and I didn't want to add any moss to this because I don't think that one, the picture, had any moss in it. But again, hopefully I'll remember to add a picture in here again so you guys can see what it actually looked like. So just like with the first project, I'm adding in some of the green little sprigs here as well, just to break up the colors a little bit. And that's pretty much it for this piece. Now, I didn't glue this one down because I was thinking to myself, if I actually take it off the pot and just want to set it out, I can do that as well. So I opted not to glue it down. I don't know. I just didn't. Maybe I'll change my mind somewhere along the way. But for right now, it sits kind of snug up in there as long as I'm not like gyrating it all around. So then right here, on the front of this cup, I didn't think this part through. I was like, I need something on the front of the cup. So I have this little gold rose embellishment. I'm just going to put that right in the middle of the pot, and it worked out fine. I wanted to keep it simple because I wanted the focal point to be the peekaboo egg, and I think that's really cute and elegant. And just to keep that base, if I want to put something else on top of it, I think would be super cool. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I think that is so pretty. I really do. And I'm not just saying it. I really think it came together pretty. So here it is. I forgot to put the Easter bunny in there, or the little bunny in there. They actually had two on the picture, but I didn't have enough room to put two. I was like, duh, you forgot to put the bunny in there. It's the whole peekaboo egg. There you have it. But you couldn't really see the bunny, so I was like, how can I make it stand out a little bit more? So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to add some little eyes and a nose to it. And again, I don't know how well you guys can see that on camera. I'm going to show you a little close up, but I think it kind of stands out a little bit. But there you have it. And here we are in our final reveal. And if you are still here riding with me, lovies, thank you so much. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting, because you guys know how much I love to speak with you guys after each and every video. So keep the comments coming. Let me know if you had a favorite of today. Let me know how you guys feel about Mackenzie Child projects. Like I said, I don't do them often here, but every now and then I'll find something that inspires me, and I love to bring that inspiration to you all. So I definitely want to hear how you feel about black and white theme for Easter. I think it's really pretty. I think it's kind of elegant in a sense. And it's also something different. If you're not into the whole pastel colors or the light, colors for spring, I think this is a good alternative to give you something a little bit, more in depth, I guess, or more, intense. I don't know. I like it. I think it has a softness to it. I think I brought a softness to it. So let me know. This is definitely my favorite. This one and the first one. I like them all, but I do like the Easter Bunny and the peekaboo egg together. And I want to hear from you guys if you have a favorite of today, or if you don't like any of them. I totally will understand that. You don't have to like them all. I just appreciate you stopping by to watch. I do. I really, really do. So, but I definitely want to hear from you all. And what I like to do at the end of each video is to show all the terracotta teacups that we've made so far. However, I did lose a lot of footage where I'm only showing the more recent ones that I've done. And so, but if you want to check out any of the older ones, you can go back to my videos probably about a month ago, 2 months ago, and you'll see where I have all of them there. I usually keep them all at the end of the video, so definitely stop by and check that out. And don't forget to hype this video, lovies. And if you want to support my channel, here's how you can do so. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/craftaway with May. And until the next video, lovies, be safe, be kind, hugs and kisses, XOXO, bye.